Pete, thanks for joining me. How are you doing today?
I'm very well, thank you, Chris. Pleasure to join you.
Nice, nice, perfect. So, what I'd like to do first off, then, Pete, just kind of pass it over to you, just to give a quick introduction of yourself. So, who are you, Pete, and where are you currently working?
So, my name is Peter Laird. I'm previously a program leader here at Edinburgh Napier University. Currently year lead and lecturer on our sports coaching programs.
Hmm.
We also do sport and exercise science, physical activity and health, and football coaching uniquely.
Nice.
So we've got a large undergraduate cohort, about 350 students,
Hmm.
studying honours programs over 4 years.
Nice, nice. So you mentioned a couple of different courses there. I just kind of want to drill down into the analysis aspects. Obviously, performance analysis and coaching is becoming some things that are getting, more intertwined, all the time. So how does analysis fit in? Is it a module on those courses? Is it just something you focus on in maybe the second or third year? How does that look, Pete, from a...
So performance analysis as a standalone module we deliver to a fourth year of our sports coaching students, but they are actually introduced to it quite early on. So as when they join us in the course, they learn about skill acquisition, and they will undertake modules where they have to gather in film footage of individual performances. And we expand that as they go through the course. They look at various different biomechanics modules.
Mhm.
But obviously, for those of us involved in coaching, we know that there's often not the right type of information that's required for our students who are looking to work in coaching. So the performance analysis, we work with the students through their practical coaching modules, their hands-on modules, and show them how they can use performance analysis. And in fourth year, we can really go some much deeper in depth with them and show them how to gather in all sorts of footage and all sorts of analysis, and looking at all the different outputs that they can actually gather. And our football coaching course, they embed the performance analysis modules right through all 4 years of their course.
Yeah, nice. You mentioned football there, but I know you're American football coach as well, aren't you, Pete? So that's your...
Yes, for my sins, yeah.
Nice, perfect. So, how long have you been at the university, Pete? Is it
It's
been...
been a while, 21 years now.
Okay, perfect. So, no,
Napier.
that tees up nicely. Then. So, the next question was basically around how the popularity has changed. So, how have you seen the popularity of performance analysis in particular change over the years? And are you seeing more students with a kind of a focus of that being their career path, and how that's kind of looked over the last sort of 10, 20 years?
So it's been a huge change, Chris. And I think actually you mentioned my background in American football. That's probably one of the things in American football. Performance analysis is just absolutely fundamental to everything we do. And I was very fortunate to work out in the States for a few years. And at that point in my my coaching career, I was exposed to how they use performance analysis on old videotapes and copying tape to tape until 2 in the morning. And fortunately, everything's a lot easier now that we've gone digitized. But um, seeing how it was used in professional sports in the US,
Hmm.
and and as we've witnessed over this last 20 years, we've seen how that professionalism has infiltrated pretty much every level of sport. And as the economics of performance analysis software has become more affordable for everybody, we can see it just about being utilized in every sport.
Yeah.
So grassroots American football, or whether you're a local football club or rugby team, or you're just using it for your gymnastics club, there's a huge amount of access to performance analysis stuff, and the ability to utilize that to improve your coaching is just absolutely fundamental. And what we're seeing, of course, is as the growth and demand for performance analysis is increasing, clubs, governing bodies, they're reaching out for people to come and work with them because they need the analyst to actually, whether it's you know, pro or semi-pro rugby clubs, local football teams, they're all looking and striving for people to come and help them with their performance analysis.
Yeah. It's funny when you say kind of tapes and tape to tape, and that's kind of gone, and even like DVDs is not even really a thing anymore as well. So that's kind of, it's just changes so rapidly. So perfect. So what I do want to ask you, Pete, then is let's kind of focus this on, say, the sports coaching degree, just a little bit more in depth of what the students are actually expected to do as part of their degree when it comes to the analysis. So what are they doing? Are they collecting their own video? Are they being given video from you guys? Are they coding games? And how does that kind of look?
So over the course of the module, try and expose them to the various different software gathering techniques. So we'll use everything from video cameras on tripods, basically being used just through playback,
Yeah,
and we'll use live playback with them. Allowing coaches to use just iPads
yeah,
during the course of a coaching practice to be able to give quick feedback to performers. But what we also try and utilize is individual skill analysis and also team analysis, which is where in play has come in for us,
yeah,
where we've allowed our performers to go out, and we'll gather footage in class in the first instance. So we'll organize games of basketball or volleyball, and we go down to the five-a-side pitches and we'll play seven-a-sides, and we'll set the cameras up and we'll allow them to have participate in the activity, but then afterwards they come back, they upload the material, and then they start analyzing it
yeah,
and tagging the film to begin to experiment the types of data that they can gather from it.
yeah,
And then once they've gathered that in, it's very much a case of preparing them to let them loose on the actual assessment project that they're required to do. And what I tend to encourage my students to do is to go and reach out to good level local clubs or organizations who might be crying out for people to do performance analysis,
yeah,
and go and work with them to show those clubs exactly what they can do and how they can harness performance analysis, and a coach who knows what they're doing with that type of material. So it's great to make our students a lot more employable
yeah,
because they're getting that hands-on experience, but they're also working out in the field and seeing what the clubs and their coaches are actually requiring or asking for.
yeah,
And in some cases, we've got, for instance, the semi-pro rugby clubs around here they'll already have the video gathered,
yeah, yeah.
and they're just looking for somebody to break the film and give them the sort of detailed breakdown of what's happening and why games are being won and lost.
Yeah, that's good that you encourage the students to go out and get these local clubs on board and just work with them and get that hands-on experience, because there's only so much you can learn at university in the
Yeah,
classroom, isn't there? You need to get out there and kind of do that.
totally.
So that was interesting. As you touched upon there, they'll break that down. So obviously they're using InPlay to tag the game, so they're using the tagging panels on there. I'm presuming they will then kind of export some clips via playlist. If they want to pull clips off, they can do that and pop them into presentations. I'm just then curious to ask then, obviously you've been using InPlay for few years now, Pete. So question really is what you kind of, how you found it, but also why you decided to choose InPlay in the first place.
So the in play was pretty, yeah. There's a lot of software analysis programs out there, and for me, one of the key things when I'm teaching people how to use performance analysis tools, the software itself has to be easy to use.
Yeah.
And that's one of the big benefits of InPlay.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple. Um, the second thing that I think you do a wonderful job in is providing the tutorials.
Mm.
So often I'll talk to students through in class and they'll follow the instructions, and then they'll gather the footage and then they'll forget everything, of course. So helpfully InPlay's got the link within it to every tutorial video that you could possibly utilize. And so the quick question is, how do I upload film? There's the 2-minute video and it tells you exactly how to do it.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I found very helpful as well is the tagging of the film is really very straightforward.
Yeah.
It emulates other performance analysis programs in that it's not like it's standalone and therefore you have to learn the specifics of InPlay. It's like if you use InPlay, I think you could quite easily use any other type of software package. And when people go out into industry, it's important that they are just familiar with how to use the stuff in the first place, and that they shouldn't be confronted with a software package that they just don't know how to use.
Yeah, yeah, that's kind of been a common theme really when I do speak to other people like yourself, Pete, the different lecturers, in terms of the simplicity. Because some software that you will get, and this is not to knock them, but they're often overcomplicated when, there might be additional buttons that you don't even know what they do, and even you as the lecturer doesn't really know. So if you've got students coming to you, you don't even know how the damn thing works. So yeah, I think we've always kept that simplicity in mind in terms of just being clean, being easy to use. But yeah, the tutorial videos as well is, like you say, students aren't always going to be paying attention every single minute of a lecture when they listen to you. So the fact that they've got them kind of on demand and they can see, okay, how do I draw on a video? How do I add that voice note? Like you say, quick 2-minute video, and they can just follow along at their own pace. And
Absolutely.
they're on demand all the time. So appreciate that. That's perfect. So to wrap it up then, Peter, I do want to ask you for a bit of advice. So obviously in the 20 odd so years that you've had, I'm sure you've had a lot of students go through the university. And this goes for not just to be a successful analyst, just for somebody that wants a career in sport in general. So what advice would you say? I know you touched upon the experience at the start, so I know that's probably a big one, but is there anything else other than that you would like to pass on?
So a pearl of wisdom I pass on all my students when they arrive is that as soon as they enter into any of our degree programs, they have to understand that that is the first step.
Yeah.
And that they are instantly going to be competing with everybody else in that classroom and everybody else from every other university for the job that they want at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So what are they going to do to differentiate themselves from every other person in that classroom and every other person from every other university course?
Yeah.
And that comes down to what can they bring to the table, what additional experiences can they gain.
Yeah.
So what they bring to the table will often be their particular interests or their sport or their passion for their love for American football or whatever their sport may be. And they use that as an entry into learning about all the other sports and other levels and realms that they perhaps never even perceived was there.
Yeah.
After that, it's about gaining those experiences, pushing themselves to get valuable experiences, making connections, networking, and then ultimately when the job comes around, if they have enough of that, as well as the education that they'll have gathered whilst they've been at university, those life experiences and those ability to bring something else to the table will really make a difference.
Yeah, perfect. Agreed. Everything you said there. I think I can remember back when I was a lot younger and probably more stupid as well, when you think you could just get a sports degree and you would just then go graduate and get a job in sport. It's definitely not like that. You do need to put in the additional work, be proactive, and like I say, the experience and networking all plays a part. So perfect. That's brilliant, Pete. Listen, I appreciate your time as always. I'm sure we'll
No worries, Chris.
but yeah, take care and yeah, speak to you soon, Pete.
Happy to help anytime.